Mwah.
We got royally screwed on the last plate, just so you know. I wonder how much those refs charge. I'll pay them myself. Well. Good morning, my good people. It's a wonderful day to be out here. It's raining, the moisture is falling out of the sky. I'm walking beneath the trees on the trail. Conditioning for Business Volume 24, back on the trail edition. Lately, I've been doing some uptown editions at night because I love the scenery, picturesque and all that good stuff. Sweet. You know how it is. So, don't really need the sunglasses. Didn't expect the rain, so here we go, good people. So I want to discuss today one of the key elements. You see this rain is coming down. Don't want to get the lens wet. Want to discuss with you guys today one of the key elements as far as closing strategy. Let's talk about it. Closing strategy. What do we do to actually close our deals? See, a lot of the times the people out there, they're sitting on the panels and the boards and all this good stuff. They're meeting with people and they're trying to wrap themselves. And yeah, so what you notice is in the midst of these meetings and when you sit down to talk to people and you go to close your deals, first of all, you have to survey the room. Who's in your closing? First off, like, who's there? If it's a phone closing, who's on the call? See, a closing should only be one or two people outside of yourself. Frankly, just two total, you and the client. If you have assistants and interns, all that stuff, if they have assistants and interns, get them out of there, okay? They don't need to be around the closing. It's like a mano type of thing. When you're going for a close, you only want to be in the room or on the phone with one party. That's the check signer. Person with authorized signatory control. You don't need to be on the phone with 4 or 5, a marching band full of people. You know, most of the time these people come with a football team, you know, a college style football team, like 900 people on it or something. It's like, whoa, this is me and you. Okay, so first, survey the atmosphere, survey the call, who's on there, or if it's an in-person meeting, who's at the closing. Now, I know there are a lot of attorneys and real estate people that have to have these people present in their closing. That's fine, you know. If they serve a professional purpose in terms of affecting the outcome of a situation, certainly have them there. Definitely have the attorney there to assist with the documents and signing, where to sign and all this stuff. Okay, that's fine. They can pass. What I'm referring to are the others out there who have no signatory control, no direct effect upon the outcome of the transaction. Just looker-ons. You know, those people that crowd around an accident scene, just stand there and watch. They're not helping. Person's on the ground dying and they're just standing there watching. It's not what we're looking for. We're looking for people who affect the transaction to some degree, people who actually have something to do with it. So that's what we want to be. If that's not them, get them out of there. They have nothing to do with the deal, get them off the deal, okay? They're just going to add dead weight. They're going to slow down your momentum. They're not going to add anything valiant to the transaction whatsoever. So you need to have a closing where it's just you and the authorized signatory or the check writer on the other side. Okay. Number 2, what is the tone of the meeting? What's the tone of the closing? You have to set that tone. Don't allow the client to set the tone because you'll never close. As simple as that. If your client sets the tone for the closing, you will never close. Promise you that, okay? The only way to close your transactions is to set the tone. And what I mean by that is when you actually come to the phone or to the meeting, you started off by laying the groundwork of what the meeting is all about. You lead out. Okay, case in point, an example. You walk into the room, client's in there, or you get on the phone call, client's on there, conference call, and you state, quote unquote, all right, so here's the purpose for this particular meeting or this particular phone call. We're here to go over the closing stages of this transaction. We want to go ahead and get the finalization paperwork completed, or we want to go through the banking procedures and the wiring strategies. You want to speak closing language, okay? That's what you want to do. Speak closing language. You want to lay the groundwork or the foundation for closing. You don't want to get on there talking about, well, we started talking about this transaction back in February and here we are June, and you know, we've discussed all the parameters of going to the site and looking at the property or looking at the bank or whatever it is you're doing. Went to the restaurant to see if the equipment was in order and all this weird stuff. You already know that. It's already known. What are you talking about that for? No, you're there to close. So you have to learn to be a closer, okay? This is a skill. Closing is a skill, okay? If you're not getting the closing rate that you're looking for, there's a reason for that. It's because you don't know how to lay the groundwork to a successful closing conversation. You set the tone coming in. You tell the client, okay, we're here to discuss the finalization strategy. We're here to discuss moving the assets or moving the capital to this particular place so that we can sign this off. We want to talk about the final inspections to the property or the final inspection to the restaurant equipment, or we want to get to the finalization. We don't want to talk about what we're doing 6 months ago. There's no closing in that. There's no closing 6 months ago. The closing is happening now. What did Apollo Creed say to Rocky on Rocky 3 when he got knocked out by Mr. T and he went back in to train with Apollo? What did he say to him? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow, okay? There is no tomorrow, people. It's today. It's no yesterday or last month or 15 months ago. It's now, okay? Bring closing language to the transaction at the close. Only talk closing language, you know? They'll want to talk about other stuff. Smile, but okay, back to closing, okay? You set the precedent. You set the tone on that. Don't forget it, okay? Number 3. If you guys have been watching all of my videos, you know I've basically laid the groundwork to how to get to this point where you can actually close. How to weed out your phone calls, weed out the drop-off men and stuff like that, okay? At this particular juncture of the discussion, you should be at a closing mentality. Your mind should be, now I know how to close the deal. Now I know how to get to or arrive at a successful position where the fruits are actually starting to bear themselves, okay? I know how to close. I know how to have a closing conversation. I know how to structure the dynamic of the conversation to where we can have a successful closing commentary. The dialogue needs to be about the close, okay? So once you have successfully arrived at that conclusion and you know how to get your close done, then you just move to the status of wiring information and all of that. It's pretty simple. It's really not difficult to close a deal. It's just understanding the parties. Obviously, if they're at the closing table with you, they know they're there to close. They know it. They know you're gonna do the deal. That's what you're there for. But don't you deviate. You be the anchor, okay? You be the lighthouse in the sea of darkness or whatever. You guide them ashore. Because they'll do everything to mess it up. They'll do everything to mentally talk themselves out of completing that deal. And sometimes they really don't mean to. It's just protection. They're just looking to protect themselves. They're, you know, it's like a deer. When the deer sees you, they freeze up and they take off. They don't know if you're a threat or not. And that's the thing about people. You have to understand that when you're talking to anyone, individuals out there, especially a business deal where thousands and thousands of millions of dollars are at risk or at rate of leaving their bank account, you better have a good talk game. Your talk game better be spotless. And you better not talk yourself out of the deal either. Put yourself in a closing position, people. That's what you do, okay? So those are my few tips of getting the deal closed. We'll go over other things, the key elements and aspects of how to get that done as time goes on. But for right now, that's all we need to discuss. Thank you very much. Conditioning for Business, volume 24, in the rain. But it's still beautiful, just like all of you. Thank you. Peace.